I'm here with Bender.
And I'm here with Sydney, and this is BS Astrology.
What's up, y'all? This is episode 28. We are filming this on Monday, August 18th around 12:54 p.m. And we will be covering the time of August 19th through the 25th, and that is a Tuesday through Monday.
We'll be switching over to Virgo season this week, which is fun for two heavy Virgo people.
Yep, and mutables.
Yep.
It's your time to shine or cry.
Yeah, mostly cry because it's Virgo season.
Yeah.
But let's go over some of the highlights of the week. Yeah. Saturn retrograde is going to be back on the world point. It's an Aries point.
Yep. 0 degrees. That's the critical world point where things kind of impact us all versus like just maybe one place, like geographically. Like if you have a world point planet in your chart, it usually says that like there's something prominent about your nativity that ends up kind of impacting the world.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pluto is only about 10 degrees from...
10 minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry, 10 minutes. Should we stop and read?
No, it's fine.
Okay. Pluto is only about 10 minutes from out of bounds declination to the south, where he will be going in and out of until 2035. And this is going to start on August 31st, and then we'll go through 2035.
Yeah, so it'll go in and out of bounds, the declination to the south, which... according to astrologer Rosie Finn, who has done an incredible amount of research on this, says that it brings a time of revolution that tends to topple governments. And it's not pretty. It's very gritty. And we have a long road ahead of us. But I think, to me, it says there is some hope.
Yeah,
that's what it says to me. Like, even though whole things, whole structures, whole systems, whole governments are collapsing, failing, having to be rebuilt or whatever, taken down literally, by the knees, by the time we get out of this, for those of us who make it out of this, we will be in a world that hopefully is better for everybody.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing, right? We are living in times where systems need to die. There is a necessary death and destruction going on.
Yep.
It's like optimistic realism. So, which I think is really good for Virgo season.
Yeah. And we can see these, these big systemic changes because we have these big outer planets that are all very, very close to being exact in their configurations to each other. Like, we will very, very soon have the Uranus Saturn sextile go into place, not this week, but the following week from now. Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus are all in this like dance of sextiles that are talking to each other, giving us a whole bunch of opportunity to make changes and new directions. But none of it feels super good right now for a lot of people.
Yep, pretty uncomfy.
Yep.
We're also going to get, I'm excited about this, it's a little unusual. We're going to get the first of 2 new moons in Virgo.
Yeah.
First one's going to be this week on the 22nd.
And the second one is a freaking eclipse, which is going to happen on September 21st. And the thing that's really cool about these ones is that the new moon, the first one that's happening this week, is at 0 degrees. And the second one is at 29 degrees. So they're both extremely anaretic.
Yeah.
Very critical.
Yes. Extremely anaretic, extremely critical, but also as like an organized Virgo mind, there's something like so hot about the fact that the first one's at 0 degrees. The second one's at the last degree. I'm like, that's sexy. Like, there is a distinct story, like beginning and end happening here.
Yeah. And are you familiar with the David Lynch like quote where he was like, let's do it again, but this time good?
Yes. That's what this is going to be. Yeah. And I think that's the thing is like this particular like amalgamation happening is so sexy for Virgo in particular, because we're going to get a chance to do something over again, which if you're a Virgo, you know that is sexy as hell.
Readjust.
Reanalyze.
Yeah. To really configure.
Perfect it.
Yep.
Right. So whatever's going to happen and we're going to get into it later in the episode, but whatever's going to happen during this new moon this week, you're going to revisit that almost exactly a month.
Or like finish up the story, essentially, because it is going to go through that 30 degrees this Virgo season.
Right.
Like,
pay attention. I think that what you're doing on this week's new moon is going to be really, really important and is going to determine what the rest of the month's going to look like.
Yeah, it's juicy. I mean, all of the stuff in Virgo, because we're officially in eclipse season.
Yeah.
Like, even though the eclipse isn't happening for a month from now, that is still eclipse season. So we need to be paying attention to, fated new beginnings, things that are a little bit out of the ordinary, opportunities that present themselves that kind of realign us on our path. And you're going to want to know where Virgo is in your chart and to kind of see where that new beginning is really starting to flesh out, and know that whole story probably won't really make itself fully known to you probably until like even October.
Yeah. I'd say so.
Because the eclipse season will last another after that.
Yeah, the actual Virgo new moon next month is going to be end of September.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to take some time to make sense of all that. So, so that's going to be one of the big things. The other thing is Venus is entering Leo on August 25th. It is going to lose some dignity when that happens.
Just a little bit.
But
the cool thing about Venus going into Leo is that she's going to start making these trines with all of the outers. There's going to be some sextiles. She's going to be talking to the outer planets that are making these big changes and kind of saying like, hey, I can bring some value onto the table. Notice me.
Yeah.
So I like it.
Venus trine Neptune. That would be nice.
Yeah, I think she'll be real cute.
I love
real
Venus
juicy.
Neptune trines. Not always realistic, but they sure feel good.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of the big overarching notes for this week.
Yeah.
And so we're going to step into the day by day. As a reminder, all of these things will be timestamped. So if you find us midweek and you don't want to watch all of this, please go into the timestamps and go to where you need to go. If you have any questions, you can always put them in the comments. We would love your follow and a little thumbs up.
A little thumbs up-y.
Because that will help us as to newer astrologers, not new, but newer astrologers kind of out in the public sphere. And should we get on with it?
I think we should get started.
So let's talk about Tuesday, August 19th, which is Mars's day. And the moon is extremely out of bounds today. It's out of bounds. extremely out of bounds.
Things are going to be high key at the beginning of the week.
Yeah, and the moon is in Cancer. And so there's just like a lot of big feelings.
Yeah, high key, big feelings.
And maybe even some angry or disrupted little feelings. We do have the moon in Cancer square Mars and Libra, like very, very early in the morning. You might wake up kind of feeling a little like, ooh, I didn't like that. Maybe a bad dream. Maybe that kind of feels like, you like have that like start when you wake up and you're like, do I have to pee? Like something's wrong. And you just kind of.
Yeah. And it's like cardinal, right? So it's definitely going to be this thing where it's kind of like whacking you in the forehead and being like, there's something important. But it's not comfortable. Hopefully you'll be mostly processing it in your dreams.
We usually wake up in this house.
You do?
Yeah, because there's so much, like I have cardinal in my chart and 7 does as well. And so like there's usually either one or a firework will go off in our neighborhood.
Yeah. I've gotten pretty good at sleeping. I think that when there are challenging things like this in the middle of the night, it usually like I start feeling it and I just don't sleep. Like I won't fall asleep even initially.
Fair.
So
fun times.
I've been tracking that. But the rest of the morning, we're probably going to wake up feeling a little uncomfortable in the morning. And most of the other aspects happening, they're pretty minor aspects. There's
that semi-square to the sun, though, could feel pretty like cranky. Like if the square kind of maybe brought up some maybe passionate feelings or cranky feelings, I think that semi-square from the moon to the sun kind of exacerbates that, but you can't really put your finger on it, right? Because the first aspect happened like literally in your dream state or when you were supposed to be asleep. So it's kind of like a fugue state.
Yeah.
And
this kind of feels like those jokes that people make where like your partner dreamed that like you cheated on them overnight and then they wake up mad at you even though you didn't do anything. So
10:30 a.m. we do get the sun trine retrograde Chiron in Aries. So I almost think it's like It is healing, like heart healing.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Passionate, intuitive.
It does. With it being retrograde, what are your feelings on?
I don't know. I think like
when it retrogrades.
I mean, it could be revisiting something that didn't fully integrate in terms of like your healing, right? Maybe you had, when it was direct, you know, something hit for you, but you didn't like fully process it. And now there's like a reprocessing. But also there's just like a wisdom here, right? Yeah. Like, I don't know. I tend to think more about, I mean, Chiron's so slow.
Yeah, that's the thing. She's slow.
It's just essentially she's like an outer that like you can't really fully be mad that she's retrograde or direct at any given time.
Right. I will say with Leo and Aries, it's definitely going to be stuff around sense of self. It's going to be like, it's going to be about you. It's not going to be about pain in relationships or whatever. It's literally going to be something regarding your sense of self. And yeah, I mean, I love Leo and Aries together because I think there's a drive where it's like, I can do it. Yeah. You know, so.
Yeah, maybe that's really kind of what it's like.
Yeah.
I can get this done.
I can do it.
I'm smart enough.
Yeah.
And people like me.
Yeah. That's very Aries, right? People like me. I can do it.
And also Leo.
And Leo, yeah.
You like me, right?
Yeah. So. I think that's the thing. Aries is like, people like me, but Leo is like, you like me, right?
Yeah. So they come together and they kind of know what to do.
Yeah.
This day is interesting to me in that, like, you know, it's or essentially almost midweek, and there's not a lot of working aspects. Like, really, we just get that trine. 302, we get the moon conjunct Jupiter in Cancer. Hopefully we'll bring some sort of feel-good energy to the day. Like, after that trine, now there's like a little bit of pleasantness.
Yeah, and it's in Cancer. It could be like pretty cozy, or it could just be like feeling totally okay to express your feelings wholeheartedly.
Safety.
Right?
Feeling safe.
Feeling safe to express your feelings.
Yeah.
Because like I try to think of like my Cancer friends, and some of my Cancer friends like being sad if they need to be. You know,
they'll put on a sad movie.
Yeah, like they're like
Pisces. They're like, I need to cry.
Yeah, they're like,
go watch Babe. I'm like, what are you doing? I would
Babe
never.
Is so sad though.
Yeah, I would never.
Yeah, Babe's one of my faves.
I would.
Do you like Babe?
I don't watch sad movies. If I know it's sad,
that's
absolutely
so
not.
Gemini of you.
We're not. We're not doing any of that. If it looks like the dog might die, I look it up on the site. Is the dog going to die.com?
Yeah. Does the dog die.com? For any of you water signs out there who don't know this yet, there is a website where you can look up your triggers and see if they're going to be in a movie that you're about to watch.
Yeah, my Venus in Cancer is such a little sensitive, exposed little babe. My heart is just like, oh, it's too jarring. I have a lot of sensitive little aspects in my chart, so no.
Yeah, I have no water in my chart, so I think that I need to like actually see
force yourself
bad things happening for me to be like, oh, that's bad. Like it's got to be tangible for me.
No, it messes with me real bad.
Yeah. So anyway, moon conjunct Jupiter in Cancer. Either way, there's going to be a lot of feelings. Hopefully, it's a good, really expansive feeling of I feel safe to feel my feelings here, which I think actually is really nice right after that Sun Chiron trine.
Yeah, and then the only other aspect after this is Moon semi-square Uranus and Gemini, so there could be some sort of, you know, like new idea about how to behave or how to change or how to feel, but it's not fully there. It's not fully grounded. It's a little bit excitable, like kind of like a free floating anxiety kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you can't really make anything of it. And this is kind of how it feels like a cliffhanger.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Big feelings though.
Well, today. And that's what I was going to say is I think that like the main theme of the start of this week on this Tuesday is really, it's like a productive day, but it's more productive in regards to feelings, right? If you are focused on meditating or journaling about your feelings or just being really present with your feelings on this day, I do think that there's a lot of opportunity to be productive and grow. Obviously, we don't live in a society where it necessarily feels productive to just like sit in your feelings. Yeah. But there are aspects out there, and this is one of those days where I do think that it is productive to do that. And yeah, I feel like it kind of ends with, okay, I felt all my feelings, now what do I do? Yeah. Kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, and also the nice thing is that we still have the Mercury Mars sextile in play. Yep. They're still very close to each other, so being able to really like, you know, speak about what you're passionate about and like what your feelings are, to maybe in healthy ways express your anger, you know, utilize those things. So enjoy the big feelings, kids.
Yeah, big feelings. And I would say because moon is super out of bounds and we're heading toward, again, that big new moon story that we're talking about, in terms of if you're thinking about like what kinds of feelings might come up, I think that since we're now in eclipse season, when these big feelings come up, start thinking about that story. Yeah. What story is happening around the eclipse and what kind of feelings are coming up around that.
I dig it.
Yeah.
So now we are in Wednesday, August 20th. The moon is still out of bounds.
Still so out of bounds.
Let me forward this so we can have a little of the chart. So first half of the day, we're still going to have that Cancer moon, which is really quite lovely. She's going to be doing some, you know, 5:27 a.m. moon conjunct Venus.
Yeah, so nice.
A little indulgence.
Yeah.
Pleasure, you know, and like that's really nice, actually. And before the moon conjuncts Venus, there's kind of like a little benefic enclosure there, because he's just snug as a bug in a rug between Jupiter and Venus, like hanging out. Nice. So hopefully there's a little bit of good vibes.
Well, and that's the best thing. It's happening early in the morning. So this is kind of the energy that you get to start the day with.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe some morning snuggles. But yeah, it's just just a feel good aspect. And what's nice is at 10:23 a.m., so like middle of the morning, it's a minor aspect, but it's still really, really nice. And it's that moon quintile Mars in Libra.
Yeah.
And again, I feel like, especially with that Mars in Libra, it's just like good morning to get along.
Yep.
You know, it's a good, you know, you're going to be focused on keeping the peace. And that doesn't always have to be a bad thing, right? Yeah. You wake up feeling good and you want to stay feeling good, and you're feeling amicable, right?
Yeah.
So, and then a little later in the morning, closer to 11 a.m., it gets a little more dicey because we have that moon squaring Chiron in Aries.
Yeah, so you know, you could just be feeling a bit extra sensitive, you know, and certainly if you have already had kind of these like really pleasant aspects. I think one of the things that we always have to be careful of, you know, when you have Moon Venus like conjunction, is you could eat a little too much ice cream.
It's indulgent.
You could be a little bit too self-indulgent, you know, and trying to get your way, or, you know, going after what you want, pleasure seeking with that Venus and Moon conjunction. So it could be that like all of a sudden you're like, oh, I did it to myself, you know?
Right.
And just a little bit of...
Particularly with water signs, right? It's almost like the, you know, like overflow.
I felt too big.
Also. Yeah. Flew too close to the sun. And then all my water feelings boiled over.
Yeah, people be hurting themselves when they feel too much or think too much, like beyond, you know, because maybe they tried to kind of exercise that. They watched Babe, and then all of a sudden they're thinking about,
and then they had a dream about pigs dying,
the saddest thing, and then they're like, I'm so sad. But you know, it's just a little bit of sensitivity, you know, and maybe even wanting to do something to kind of solve that for yourself. The square is kind of like a push to action. But the moon is going to enter Leo at 4:16 p.m. So it's a little bit of a vibe check. We go into like a creative, playful, bouncy
pick me.
Yeah.
It's a pick me moon.
Definitely. Yeah. I know that I am a Moon and Leo slanderer. I have I have personal experience with people with Moon and Leo.
Well, that puts their moon in your 12.
It does. Yeah. But it depends on the system, but yes,
but we've had this exact conversation before.
But Moon over the other signs.
Yeah.
I have Sun and Leo friends. I'm like, yeah, do that. But the Moon and Leo ones, it just can be really God, they really love to kind of be the victim in order to get all of the attention they could possibly need.
Yeah.
It's very dramatic moon.
Yeah.
Dramatic feelings.
Yeah. Yeah. I dated a person who had I think we've talked about it on this podcast too. I dated a moon in Leo and a Venus in Aries. And let me tell you.
That's very bad.
And they were an only child. But, I know you are too, but But still.
Except like
they were very an only child.
Sometimes I wonder what I would be like if I had Leo placements.
I think
it would be a lot.
And if you were still like a burlesque dancer.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
You'd be like a problematic fave. Like, I think you're very, very grounded.
I try to be, because I don't like watching people be all hyphy. It's really quite annoying.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, is you would just be like a hyphy version of yourself.
It's deeply annoying to me. Yeah. So like when I watch people being extra dramatic, I'm like, well, what is happening? But I digress. So the cute thing is, once the moon enters Leo, we get all of these like passionate sextiles and trines. We get the moon trine retrograde Saturn in Aries. It's like really wanting to kind of put your plan into action.
Yeah, I agree. You know? Yeah, it's feeling like super confident in yourself. Again, it's like that pick me, but this kind of energy is very much like pick me because I'm worth it.
Yeah.
Right?
And also kind of okay with going at it you're on your own.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to like me. I'm extremely likable.
Yes, exactly. If you don't get it, someone else will.
And also, like, the kind of emotional resolve that you would want to do to get things done. The cute thing about today is Wednesday, August 20th, is very much a get shit done day.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So again, it's going to be, once we get into the afternoon, moon is going to trine Saturn in Aries, which again, we always talk about moon and Saturn can be a little bit of a want kind of feeling, but it is a trine, and it's a trine between two fire signs. Yep. So I really do feel like it's like it's less so of like a depressive aspect in this case, and more of a we just really got to buckle down.
I feel like all moons in Leo would benefit from a trine or a sextile to Saturn to kind of anchor them back into the space, instead of like,
well, because a Saturn influenced Leo is like the best person ever, right? They're the person who like can be the leader, the leader, the creative, who actually can like put their work out there and find success with it.
Word.
The really successful, for so many successful performers have like strong Leo with Saturn. So yeah, I love that with Moon and Leo. And then about an hour later, 6:40 p.m., we're gonna have the Moon sextiling Uranus in Gemini.
New idea.
Yeah, inspiring, right? And it's a sextile, so it's just like I just had this great idea.
And also just being able to like maybe shift into whatever new ways of thinking that you want to do, or to implement a new idea, a new habit.
Yep.
But like really easily. It's just like, I'm going to do this, and then you can just go do it. It's not, there's no like real drama to it, right? No. It's just like playful, creative.
And this is why I love Gemini and Leo together. I think Gemini is the mutable energy that can kind of pull Leo out of its very fixed state, right?
I like that.
It's like, because it's like, look at all these fun ideas, and Leo's like, I do love fun.
We're gonna get the moon, then we'll try and retrograde Neptune in Aries. This is dreamy, this is intuitive, this is very creative.
This
is a bit psychic, honestly.
Yeah, definitely.
Being able to kind of tap into those like higher states of like awareness, And
I think with moon being in Leo, I think it can also be a great way to tap into one's own subconscious, right? It's a good moment to pull out things that maybe are usually hidden from you, from yourself, right?
I like
this is a good time to have some insights about yourself.
Yeah, I mean, because Leo and Aries are very much more than I don't want to say more than a whole bunch of other signs, because every sign is kind of about themselves, except for maybe Libra or Aquarius.
Libra is still about themselves.
Yeah, it's just a little different.
They're just projecting it. Yeah. They're looking for the boing flip.
But like, I always think of, and maybe it's just because of my experience with like Aries energy and Leo energy, kind of being shown to me through other people in my life. There's a very like identity thing that resonates more than in other signs. Like Sag is almost the next, except they just kind of like to take off.
Yeah.
But I mean, it makes
sense. And also
Sag,
like, I don't think Sag cares super much about like how people are identifying them. Like, they are so unbothered.
No, they just want their freedom.
Yeah, they're like, you can perceive me however you want, just stay out of my way.
Yeah, they just want their freedom. But there is something, it's like the sun is happy with Leo because that's at home, but he exalts in Aries. He's like, I feel really juicy here too. And so like these two signs really, really, really freaking get along. And this can just really elevate the dreams that we're having, and like really try to say like, I'm gonna go after this vision. I'm gonna make my new reality into a thing with that.
And if I can just add a little side note about that Moon and Leo, Venus and Aries that I dated, yes, they could be incredibly selfish. Yes, they very much were trying to make our relationship go the way they wanted to. However, the flip side was that this is one of the most creative, interesting people, and was the kind of person that everybody knew and wanted to be friends with. And they were genuinely a kind and generous person.
Like passion.
Passionate beyond belief. Like there's a distinct good side to this.
Right? Like when you see people that are like super tuned into like what they're keyed into, like other people are like, it catches on like wildfire. It's like that idea that like when you're lit up, you can light up other people.
And that's like the most evolved way to describe Leo, right? Is Leo at its best is generous and wants to shine its light on everybody and wants everybody to share in that.
Open-hearted, warm-hearted, full-hearted. And then we'll get the moon opposite retrograde Pluto in Aquarius in the evening. So this could be like an emotional power struggle. This could be like feeling emotionally manipulated in some sort of way. Maybe it kind of went a little bit too far.
I was going to say flew too close to the sun, right?
There could be, you have to kind of reject something, maybe an idea or something that you had earlier in the day with the moon opposite Pluto. Like Pluto's like, you got to throw that out. Like that was a little bit too much.
And it's Pluto in Aquarius, right? So it's definitely going to be like an ego check a little bit.
Oh, definitely.
So it's going to be like mostly a day of like getting shit done and like feeling like you got this and that you're unstoppable. And then at the end of the night, maybe there's going to be a need to go back and recheck what you were feeling so confident about.
I kind of love that there's this check with Pluto, this opposition to Pluto, prior to the moon going into Virgo in the next couple of days, because it's like you need to have a check-in. You need to get rid of some stuff before like Virgo comes and says like, you need to be ashamed of how you behave. You need to feel bad about this.
You have to like hide the shit under the bed before mom comes home kind of thing.
Let's be a little less cringe before mommy comes and checks us. So,
because you will be judged.
Definitely. So, I mean,
I love that.
Do you have any other notes about Wednesday?
No notes. That was a great way to end it.
Thursday, August 21st.
Moon is still freaking out of bounds. It is still there. So everything that we've talked about up to this point, just be aware that feelings are going to be high key through all of this.
And the moon is in Leo, so it's extra dramatic.
So fucking dramatically out of bounds.
But I think like with the dramatic feelings, if you have this sense of awareness and self-reflection to be like, am I the drama? Right. And you go, I am the drama. Okay. Remove yourself from other people and then have a tiny tantrum or whatever to yourself. I used to have this thing where like I get really, really frustrated and I just like lay on the ground and I'd be like, You're like, because like I don't need to like push that on other people.
Right.
And I think it would be a really good idea with all of these out of bounds feelings to really like, we need to check ourselves literally before we wreck ourselves.
Yeah.
Because if there's anything, an overblown Leonic expression of me that is going to happen, it is definitely going to follow with some sort of soul crushing realization that it did not go well and you should not have done that.
And that's the hardest thing with Leo is Leo's tantrums are always looking for validation. So and that's the point you're making, right? Is that like a Leo tantrum is going to happen in front of other people and it's going to be pay attention to me. And then everybody's going to be looking at you like, bro, like get your shit together,
Cute times.
And maybe that's what that Pluto moon opposition will be the night before. It might be a good time to actually schedule
the emotional outburst.
Like just know that like you're going to feel good for the day, but you need to sit down and meditate at the end of the Wednesday. That Wednesday. Like sit down and meditate and check in on your feelings.
Yeah. During the day for Thursday is a little bit more productive and emotionally productive and ability to like kind of feel like you're in the flow of the day until the evening and afternoon. So try to get your stuff done during the day. Don't delay. because frustration is coming.
Yep.
But in the morning,
frustration is coming.
Well, okay. I think about this with my partner sometimes, right? Because I have the tendency to, as soon as I notice that something needs to be done, even if I have to stop doing other things, I will immediately go and do it so that it doesn't get forgotten, put aside, anything.
Cannot relate.
Right? And that is an Aries placement for you. But like, and I know there's like, I'll deal with it later. And then like later happens and then they're like, oh, and I'm like,
see, that's the worst part is I'm like, now I'm in a rush because I didn't do this and I have a million other things to
do. And I get that there's just like two different ways of doing it.
And then you just try to do it very quickly and half-assed.
And then all of the jars are just open in your kitchen.
And
did an Aries moon touch this jar?
Yes.
They did. Can you still screw it shut? Yes, you can.
The amount of times, and it's like, the amount of times that I have left my car unlocked.
Oh my God.
Better. Yeah, and had people break into my car because I'm just in a hurry. And it doesn't matter how many times people break into my car. It doesn't matter how many times it's caused significant discontent or issues and distress for me. I never learn because sometimes I'm just in a hurry and I don't lock my car.
And but that's a fire placements, right?
Yep.
That is very much Aries placements.
Yes.
That it's very like,
we tunnel vision into the thing that we feel like we need to get done, and everything else is just in our way.
Shoot, fire, aim.
Yeah. Yep.
It is not plan, see, do, and then fire. Like it's nothing like that, which is fine. But I think like it just came to my mind because this morning aspect, Moon in Leo sextile Mars in Libra is it could very much be that. Yeah. Use the speed, use the passion, use the ability to like feel like you can go after what you want with responsibility. Yeah. Because I think that there's definitely the ability to go a little bit too fast or to like gloss over with this aspect. It's friendly to a point. Yeah.
Well, and Mars in Libra is going to temper that Mars a little bit.
Hopefully.
Hopefully
for better.
Yeah.
And then we're going to get the moon conjunct Mercury, and the void of course is going to begin. The void of course is going to be relatively long. It's going to last for the rest of the day into Friday, I believe, Friday afternoon.
Yep.
So
it will end. Yeah.
So try to get things done. First half was great, not gonna lie. And then we'll get a really cute quintile to Uranus and Gemini, which could just be like you're thinking outside of the box, you're feeling outside of the box.
Yeah, I think that this is especially because the void of course is going to be going on and it's not going to be super productive. This could, at least during the day, just be a good time to socialize. It feels like a lot of social aspects with that Moon in Libra. Or that the moon sextile Mars in Libra, sorry. And then moon conjunct Mercury, right? We're feeling chatty. And then it brings us right to that moon quintile Uranus in Gemini. Yeah. It feels very social to me.
I can dig it. I can dig it. Yeah. In the evening, though, we do have the moon sesame square, retrograde Saturn, and also retrograde Neptune. And these are really like frustrating, head banging against the wall kind of feelings where you're like emotionally blocked in some sort of way.
Right.
Or like not able to fully go forward. It's almost like you were doing your day and then something thwarted it. It's like the stick went into the spoke and you're like, just
and now you're wobbling around trying to get that equilibrium
and you
back.
can't find your equilibrium. You can't find your emotional equilibrium, whether it is due to some sort of like confusing nebulous sort of thing or a literal block being the Saturn.
Yeah. And like sesqui squares are generally a minor aspect, but I do think that with Saturn being on the world point at the moment it happens, this is going to feel a little closer to square territory, right?
Yeah, I feel like it's a kind of emotional crisis time.
A little bit of an emotional crisis. And again, with that Neptune, it just feels very, convoluted, unclear, confusing. So it could be that you really thought you knew what you were up to during the day, and then something just completely,
Yeah.
I also forced you to pivot.
I also wonder, just like on a mundane level, like the moon is the people, right? And we know that Saturn in Aries has very much been our government, performing in so many naughty no-nos.
Yeah.
Just so many ways.
Just like being a little rude.
I do kind of wonder if this is kind of a clash with the idea of martial law and like the people and where they're at, like trying to kind of stand up, rise up.
Yeah.
Speak on what they need, what we need, certainly. And so, I'd be really interested to see kind of what happens in the evening.
Me too. And it could be leading up to it because we have a lot of social energy earlier in the day. It could be, people are starting to talk about these things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
And organize. And especially with that moon quintile to Uranus.
Yep. Right. After the moon conjunct Mercury, it's just like you're able to really like speak on how you feel and what you stand for.
An exchange of ideas and those kinds of things. Yeah. So I'd say Thursday, like, it's like a little quiet, but definitely there's some like big moments on Thursday.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see kind of how the evening wraps up because just, if anything, I wouldn't necessarily think that there could be something significant with a minor aspect like a sesqui square. Mm-hmm. However, Saturn is on the world point, so I think it could be.
Like I said, it could be, or just like the introduction of a really big conversation or like information comes out where people are like, oh, we're gonna have to respond to this. Doesn't necessarily mean the response will happen that night, but it could be information coming out or people talking about things where suddenly people are like, oh, we need to respond to this. So
makes sense to me.
Should we go to Friday?
Sure. So Friday, August 22nd is Venus's day. Venus is still in Cancer on this day, and the moon is back in bounds. Today is a significant day because we do have a ingress from the sun into Virgo.
It's my time.
Yeah, it's your birthday season.
It's my birthday season.
The sun is going to enter Virgo at 1:33 p.m. There isn't really anything before this. There's only a biquintile from the moon to Saturn, so it's just, probably feeling just kind of a little bit peaceful, actually.
Yeah, feels quiet.
Emotional resolve.
Sid's the one who wrote these notes, and there are literally no aspects until 12:31 p.m. And she put in parentheses, yes, p.m.
Because I looked like 3 times. I was like, "Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure?" Yeah. So it's I think that kind of means we are in that recovery phase from the sesqui squares the night before. And now we're in.
And the moon finally went back into bounds, right?
And now we're kind of in like an emotional come down, resolve, a quiet space, a way to like be introspective and reflect. And that makes sense because that reflection is so very necessary.
Yes.
Or something that a Virgo does so well and so horribly. Don't you think?
Yes, it's our best trait, and also we are overindulgent with it, and we can get stuck in a loop of just reevaluating something over and over and over.
The paralysis of analysis.
Right. But I do think that with the climate being so quiet on this day, I think that actually you're right. I think that's good for Virgo. It doesn't it leaves a little less opportunity for a cluttered up monkey mind, and it's a very work oriented sign. So I think you felt all your feelings for the first 3 days of this week, and we're very productive in understanding how we're feeling and communicating about those things. And then Virgo comes in and is like, okay, now what are we going to do about
now
it?
We got to get to work. One of the biggest words for Virgo is work. Being of service, being productive.
Yes.
And it's very good. One of the beautiful things that Virgo has the capability of doing is separating the wheat from the chaff. Seeing this doesn't work, but this does, right? And just saying out with that, and we stay here. It's about systems. It's about organization. It's about being practical.
It's about being critical.
Yes. Also, and that's where we hit the line of the soft, tender spot of Virgo, because there is so much beautiful criticism that a Virgo can offer up, because it's like they see all of the systems that are in play, and then it's like, that doesn't work, that doesn't work, that doesn't look good. Those genes make you look, those look weird on your body, or whatever, right?
It's true. Virgo, yeah. And I think that's the thing is like people say that it's hard to love a Virgo, and I think it's just that you have to be the right kind of person to be loved by a Virgo, because.
Yeah. I mean, I think you have to have some way of self-reflection.
Yes.
And some way of making changes, and also knowing that not all criticism means that you're unlovable or unlikable. Right. Literally all a Virgo is trying to do is improve you. Yeah. And that's the shadow side of Virgo, because I'm a Virgo rising and I want to fix everything.
Everybody. I want to fix it all. The people that I love the most, who I have the most respect for, I will constantly be thinking like,
you could be doing that.
You could be doing this differently. People that Virgo loves the most are the people they're going to be the most critical with, right? And that's because they believe that they are capable of so much, and they have so much respect for them that they want to see them be the very best they can be. Yeah. Oftentimes that doesn't leave a lot of room for you are perfect just the way you are right here and now, because Virgo has a hard time feeling that within themselves.
And there's definitely like one of the things that I've noticed about my Virgo, like I feel like a Virgo rising and a Virgo sun work very different, like a little differently from each other, because I've watched Virgo suns work in two ways. One, all of the systems, all of the things. On the other end, a rejection of all of that, and they are a chaos demon. Like, putting things like, hiding things to make it look clean, like the facade, but like everything's busting at the seams. But like a person would enter the house and be like, oh, it's so clean. But like, don't look under the couch. Don't look behind the shower curtain. And that's like the kind of the unbalanced side, right? And like, if we think about the sun being kind of the soul's intention in which to grow into, right? It's trying to be in this kind of perfecting self-analysis, but like not over atonement, not over anxious, but like a fixing sort of balanced kind of thing.
Like a peaceful understanding that we don't even have to try. We are always growing. Yeah. We are always changing. Yeah. You don't have to get caught up in your head about it. No matter what choice you make, that choice is going to lead you to growth. Yeah. It doesn't have to be the perfect choice. And that's what's hard for Virgo.
Virgo has this ability to really swing into like one way after Leo, because Leo being like me. And then Virgo's like, oh, I have to atone for all of the things that I did, like when I was in Leo, right? And then Libra goes, I have to find some sort of balance here, because like that was a lot. Like I went too far into my like, oh, poor me, service, sacrifice, take the shirt off my back.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the crazy thing, right? Is it's like, it's a crazy pendulum swing where it's like all about me, and Virgo is literally the giving you the shirt off your back.
I feel really bad for people that have Leo and Virgo aspects. There has to be a wild thing happening.
My Mercury's in Leo.
That's true.
And yes,
but also like that's a mutual generosity, right? Because
so there's mutual reception between them. And the other thing is I have a lot of Virgo. I have 3 placements in Virgo.
That Mercury's like, but hey, what about me? But I think we did a good breakdown on the sun entering Virgo.
Virgos, leave us a comment. Tell us what you think.
I could not express how funny I think it is that the sun enters Virgo, and then later on in the evening, we get Venus square Chiron.
I know,
which is just another like crisis-y. Like atoning, sensitive.
Yes. Thing. And Venus is in Leo right now. Yeah. So it really is just.
And they sometimes say, depends on what astrologer, especially like the more psychological astrologers that we're dealing with, the asteroids, will say that Chiron is really supposed to be the ruler of Virgo. So that because it's like the healer, the fixer, that sort of thing, and can't ever really fix themselves. So they try to fix everybody else.
I think that Virgo truly is the ruler of Chiron. I feel that in my gut.
I think there's a deep affinity, and I think it would be good of us to consider that. I don't know if I really want to like change the theme of Mundi because I don't want to deal with all of the criticism.
I know, right?
But I do think that Chiron and Virgo go hand in hand, and so it's interesting that Chiron goes like, and now I enter stage right, perfect in time for Virgo season, saying, hey, what do you feel like sensitive about in your relationships that needs to be kind of dealt with here? And like, ooh, do you feel some crisis around your needs?
Yeah, I was going to say
love?
Because it's Venus and Leo, it's going to be like your needs, right? Like how you're showing up in relationships. It's very much going to be centered around how you show up in your relationships.
And then at 10:24 p.m., the moon is going to enter Virgo, and the void, of course, is going to begin. At 11:06 p.m., we get a new moon in Virgo. This is going to happen at 0 degrees, 23 minutes. I mean, this is 0, right? This is at the very, very beginning. We have this new moon saying some sort of new beginning around Virgoan things, systems, analysis.
Yep. And this is a really important moon to look at where it's happening in your chart, what house it's going to be happening again, because what we talked about at the beginning of the week is that this is the first of 2 Virgo new moons. And the second one's going to happen about a month from this day. So looking at where Virgo is in your chart, and like you said, we're looking at, bless you. We're looking at, work, service,
systems,
where we are perfecting things,
where we need to do some sort of new analysis to get rid of something that isn't working out.
Also, where do you martyr yourself?
Yeah. So the new moon features, which I think is interesting, is like, so the new moon is ruled by this Mercury in Leo, which is like heart-centered communication.
This is going to be a big one for me.
This.
Ow, I just felt it now where I'm like, this is going to be a big one for me.
A really interesting feature of I'll talk about some of the interesting features of it is Mercury is in quintile to Uranus, which is really about like new genius ideas, right? And also,
and like new ways of communicating.
And Uranus is tightly in square to this new moon. So it is in quintile to the ruler of this new moon and square to this new moon. So there is something about also needing to be flexible. This is, the square is mutable. So you're having to go and change and shift directions, and maybe in some sort of way that you need to change the systems in which you're working in, or the ideas that you're conveying. Getting rid of something, change in direction to pivot. Like that, feels like a pivot.
It definitely feels like a pivot. And I think with Virgo, with this new moon in Virgo, it's like, you're definitely going to be revisiting something that's just been a pattern for you that I think it's now like, this is the moment, and it's going to be a little painful. It's almost like going to the chiropractor and getting your back readjusted. But it's a pivot into a new way of doing things, a new way of communicating, a new way in which you work.
But I think that there's also, we need to remember that this is possible for us wherever this is happening in your chart, wherever Virgo is in your chart. We need to know that this new beginning and this pivot is essential to us to like actually continue on our journey. The Sun and Mercury have a mutual generosity. So they aren't in direct aspect because they're in the sign right next to each other, but they do have a generosity in that the Sun is in Mercury's happy exalted sign, and Mercury is in the Sun's happy domicile sign. And so like they're working, they're like, okay, I can kind of do this. Like, I get it. I see where you're coming from. But
it's like an acceptance of the need, right? Like this is something that we got to do.
But then we get, you got to think yods now, right? So this new moon is in a yod to both, where is it? To Pluto and also to Saturn, Neptune. So the new moon is at the apex of a yod being called either like the finger of God, the finger of destiny. So like this pivot is poignant. Not only is it anaretic, it is also at the tip of a yod saying here is where the critical point is.
Yeah.
And the quincunxes coming from Pluto to the moon and then Saturn and Neptune to the moon all have to do with adjustments. So again, there's more pivot energy. Yeah. We have one of the quincunxes more Virgo shape, so analysis, and the other one is more Scorpio shape, which is like, what is that? Crisis. And if there's anything a Virgo is really good at doing, it's being in a crisis.
Yeah, that's the other great thing about Virgo. If you are in a crisis, call Virgo.
Yeah. They're like, oh, I have a notebook for that. Yeah. I have a list for that.
Yeah, they're like, I've planned for this my whole life.
But I think that this new moon is like very, very, especially if you have planets in the like probably 29, 28 to 3 degrees. This is a really, really important time for you to like figure out where life is pivoting you and really be able to be flexible, because I don't think you get to hold on ham-fisted saying like, no, I'm staying here. Like we do not get to. This is new destiny points. We are now in eclipse season. This is not an eclipse, but we are in eclipse season. So,
and I do think it's going to speak to the eclipses that happen. I think that this is an important.
They're in Virgo.
Yeah, exactly.
And Pisces. Fun.
Yeah. So.
There's that square to Uranus to Gemini. Okay.
Yeah. There's the tight quincunx to Pluto.
Yeah.
Right. So big feelings.
Yeah. And just like that's in the Scorpio shape. So that's the crisis.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's the crisis point.
The Saturn moon, the Neptune moon is in the Virgo shape, which is around analysis and adjustment, atonement.
Should we talk about the 12th mansion?
Yeah, let's talk about the mansion.
We should like start having like a mansion moment with Sid during these.
My head pops up.
Mansions.
So again, one of the most beautiful books about the mansions comes from Christopher Warnock. This mansion is the 12th mansion called Al Sarfa, aka the changer, which is like even more poignant when we talk about all these aspects. This is the pivot. This is the change. This is, she's the moment.
Yeah. She is the moment.
She is the moment.
And I think that's what's great about the Mercury in Leo mutual reception here is I really do think that, this is going to be Virgo heavy, but I think where Mercury in Leo comes in is like, okay, like I have to do Virgo things, but this is my moment and I know what I have to do here.
And again, that thing about heart-centered communication, like if we all need to think about how we are, I really like communicating where we stand.
Yeah.
What we believe in.
Yeah.
Right? That we've gone through the self-reflection and analysis to be like, okay, now it's time for me to stand up for what I believe in because I know where I am. That's kind of a part of this.
Yeah.
So this particular mansion it's around a bright star that has the nature of Saturn and Venus. So it's kind of, that feels like good news, bad news bears.
Yep.
The keywords for this mansion are strife, combat, separation, constriction, hindrance of movement, and conflict. And the image of the 12th mansion depicts a warrior confronting a dragon. Right? So when the moon passes into this mansion, it signifies conflict and confrontation. It's something you have to confront. You have to deal with. We have to pivot. We have to change. There is no other way, which I think is also the very yachty thing. And I thought that this particular thing was extra poignant too. This mansion gives heed that we are externalizing the problems and even evils that exist within us and projecting them onto the people and things in our outer world. Yeah. Meaty, right?
That's meaty.
That's meaty. And so that kind of brings us like, if you don't change yourself, you don't get to change the world. No. You don't get to, we have to be the change that we want to see in the world.
I don't know. That's kind of pulling me back into the Venus Chiron square that's going to happen right before this, is the idea of like confronting this is also going to directly affect how we relate to others in the world around us, right? So it's going to directly impact our relationships. Relationships of all kinds, but relationships, right?
The interesting thing too, so we have all of that new energy with the new moon being at the 0-0 moment, but that Chiron square happens at the last degrees of cardinal. And so it's like, no matter which way you're coming, everybody's getting hit. So, know where Virgo is in your chart. If you have something at the cardinal degrees of like 24 to 29 or even 0. Like this square has some meat. I think to be aware of how you need to either work inside of your healing, to nurture yourself. You're like thinking about your chart, like just crazy.
I'm like, oh fuck.
This is a very,
it's gonna hit my Venus and my Jupiter.
This is a very sensitive, I feel like it's a very sensitive, which is already like a Virgo word too, because Virgos are very sensitive, tuned in, fine-tuned kind of new beginning for people. So
this is gonna hit your first house.
It is by whole sign. Otherwise it's in my 12th.
Cool. How you feeling about that?
I don't have anything at the 0 degrees, which is fine. I don't necessarily think that this isn't going to impact me though. So, because it is very close to my very cardinal anoretic Saturn. So it's close.
Cool. Cool.
So it'll feel probably like, it'll feel interesting. And also just because I am a Virgo rising, like there's something there for me. And then I actually, during eclipse season, so wonderful to have my perfected Lord of the Month turn into the sun.
We love that.
So all of the eclipses, and it was kind of like, there's something here for you. And I'm like, interesting.
Do I want it?
Well, and that eclipse in September actually is on, like, almost on my ascendant. So.
So this is going to be like the prologue.
And I have quincunxes in my chart as well. I actually have almost that exact. I have a quincunx to my Taurus planets. So there's something that involves Saturn. So
love it.
I think it's really Saturn that has something for me.
I was going to say it's that Saturn.
But I digress. Pay attention to where Virgo is in your chart.
Did we already talk about the moon quincunx?
Oh, that's Saturn? The very last aspect of the day.
So last aspect of the day after the new moon in Virgo, 11:29 p.m., the moon will quincunx retrograde Saturn in Aries on the world point. So
got to adjust,
and it's not going to feel great. It's not going to feel great.
You feel anxious. You can feel
sad.
Criticized.
I think like Virgo can be such a mopey bear, right? Sorry.
Nothing's ever good enough.
It's usually Virgos keep it to themselves. But if you're a Virgo and this hits you really hard, the night might end with you just kind of like sitting at home alone and getting ready to emotionally readjust, but also maybe just being
self-reflection. This try not to go too deep in that. I feel like that's
good thing it's late at night, so you could probably just go to bed.
Just go to bed.
I know it's a Friday, but go to bed. I don't know if this is a great night for going out.
It's not.
And if it is, God, can you imagine like being drunk during this new moon? Because there are going to be so many people who are like out drinking and partying.
This is crying in the bathroom.
This is crying in the bathroom.
This is puking.
This is puking, but I also feel like it's like some like big shit. Like you go out with your partner and your partner ends up like screwing someone in the bathroom while you're like out on the dance floor.
God damn.
I don't know why I thought about that. Because I just feel like something big and then you walk into the bathroom and you're like, oh, fuck.
Having to make
but
emotional
big adjustments.
Emotional and life adjustments. Adjustments around the vision, around what your work is, what your plan is, what your strategy is.
That's a big thing, is like making plans are a big thing with Virgo. So it could be that whatever plans you thought you had, you're going to have to throw that in the trash bin and start making a whole new plan. But you do need to make a plan. Virgo wants you to make a plan.
I think I would call this new moon pivot, bitch.
Pivot, bitch. And with the Mercury and Leo, it's literally a pivot, bitch.
Yeah.
You know? So.
All right.
So on to Saturday. And so this brings us to Saturday, the 23rd.
Saturn's Day.
We are past the new moon in Virgo at this point. So obviously this is the day before is going to be stressful because we know that at 12:57 a.m. for the start of this, we're still stressed. The moon is going to square with Uranus and Gemini.
So it's actually going to perfect what was happening during the new moon. So that new moon energy just carries over.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah. Here we are into the next day. It still feels like a lot. This is still going to be the middle of the night. Mm-hmm. So hopefully it's just like dream processing, but it could be, you know, especially with squares to Uranus, you could just be up all night. Like you could just have trouble feeling settled.
You feel like you plugged your fingers into a socket and it's just energy is kind of everywhere.
Right. I mean, if you do encounter a big conflict, I think that this is definitely, especially with Uranus and Gemini, it's going to be a lot of, did I make the right choice? And thinking about all of the different ways that you could have or should have done it. Right.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. It might be a little bit of a sleepless night. Especially
quincunxes to retrograde Neptune,
quincunxes galore,
and
for
to
the rest
retrograde
of
Pluto. So it's still carrying in that yod energy. It's still wrapping around, and you know, I think we need to just keep in mind that new moon in Virgo is so late the night before.
Yeah.
That really, like, I think it's just going to feel like an enduring new moon.
Yeah. Like you're gonna wake up the next morning with new moon energy.
Yeah, it's still gonna be there.
Yeah.
At 4:04 a.m. we get the Sun quincunx retrograde Saturn in Aries, which is on a world point.
Mm-hmm.
So
you may need to pivot your whole path,
your
whole life path.
Yeah,
it could, or something that has had a significant impact on your life path is going to come up with this new moon. So we're really talking about a big pivot here.
It's like an ego adjustment.
Yeah, for sure.
And maybe, you know, with an already adjusting Virgo sun, I wonder if it's like, no, you've gone too far into like humbling thyself. We need to like actually learn how to, we need to adjust in a way that allows us to really actually step into our own power.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say that the cool thing between like Leo and Virgo and what's interesting about them being next to each other is, and kind of the energy that I'm feeling with this new moon is definitely that there is an absolute need to understand the balance between honoring oneself and one's needs, and also understanding where you need to compromise and where you need to be, where you need to fix yourself. Because it almost always is both of those things, right? It's never that it's all my fault, because that's way too Virgo. And it's never that it's all of y'all's fault and I'm fine, because that's too Leo, right? It's almost always somewhere in between that.
Yeah, and the thing about quincunxes, right, is that it'll never fully click into place. I have Sun, Saturn, quincunx in my chart.
Yeah.
Actually, Sun retrograde Saturn, quincunx in my chart, but it's with Saturn in Libra and Sun in Taurus. And that quincunx usually means that you end up taking on too much in order to like atone for something, whether it's like other people's perceptions of you that aren't fair. And so you're always like, well, I can do better. I can be better. You know, it can definitely, you know, you're doing things in order to hopefully be accepted or liked. So you can like shine your light, you know, you're like self-checking yourself. With the quincunx because you have anxiety. So it's fun. Love that quincunx in my chart. It's so fun.
Yeah, that's really cool for you.
Yeah, it's wonderful. But this
okay, I have quincunxes too.
Yeah, but this quincunx in particular is on a world point. So I do wonder if there is some sort of check around government systems and authority figures. Some sort of adjustment that needs to be made that we're all very, very aware of. There could be some sort of news about our leaders, which was like, ooh.
Well, and I'm even wondering if it's like this sense of, you know, thinking about it more internationally. I do think that a lot of countries are now looking to the U.S. and reconsidering their relationship with us.
Oh, 100%.
And reconsidering how they're going to be interacting with us. And there very well could be something that comes up with this new moon where like on the international stage, everybody's kind of like, like pivoting away from the US.
Yeah.
Right.
I do feel like we are many, many years from being our country being seen in any sort of good,
respectable,
light.
Yeah.
And this is a call to self-correct. And I mean, we'll see how we do it, but not great. 1:44 p.m. we do get Mercury and Leo, quintile Uranus and Gemini. Again, this is more new ideas, new ways of communication.
Yep, chatty and social.
Yeah. She's cute,
and it could be a nice little respite from the energy. Leading up to that, it could be finally trying to communicate or trying to make sense of kind of the new path that you suddenly find yourself on. Because again, we're coming like post pivot, right? So it could be that you're just in this strange new land, strange new situation, or a new perspective. And I think that this quintile does kind of give you a little bit of curiosity to explore what that is.
And also just to like communicate like radical new thoughts and things that you're like trying to explore. It feels also very like exploratory in a really good way. 5 p.m. we get Jupiter semi-square Uranus, which I just thought was strange. I like noticed I was like, it's minor, but I'm like, these are big planets.
These are big planets.
That's actually kind of interesting because like the semi square does not feel comfortable. And so there's like maybe some sort of kind of sudden shove around like our goals, judicial systems, anything having to do with legalities. Uranus, I think can be tracked. I think I watched a presentation on it, can be tracked around like queer history. So I'm wondering if there's something that kind of comes to light around queer legislature.
Well, we do know that
they're coming after us.
They're coming after us. Yeah, they.
So this could be like a little finger in the socket around like we actually know what their plan is, but we can't quite do anything about it yet because the semi-square isn't a fully.
It's going to be a lot of like receiving information and not necessarily acting on it. Because there's not a ton of fire energy this day, other than Saturn and Aries on the world point, I guess. But
and then we'll get the moon sesqui square retrograde Chiron and Aries. I think that just feels like pain.
That's what I'm saying. Is I think that like the Saturday is going to be uncomfortable. I think that there's going to be a pivot point on, like you said, the new moon is so late on Friday that I think like Friday, Saturday, you could consider a new moon day depending on how your day shakes out. Right? Are you a night owl and this is going to play out for you in real time? Or are a lot of us going to be sleeping through the new moon and then we wake up and have to deal with the new moon, right? So I think there's just going to be a lot of discomfort and readjustment on Saturday. And it could be there's some social stuff where you could be interacting with people. But I think even that won't necessarily be comfortable. I would say at best, maybe talking to like-minded people about things you're pissed off about. But uncomfy. Uncomfy Saturday.
Saturday is definitely uncomfortable.
It's like it's not the kind of energy where you can just kind of like go home and like crawl under the blankets about it. It's like actively confronting, conversing, processing. Right.
11-12 p.m. This is why I wouldn't go out. It's minor. But the moon in Virgo, semi-square, Venus in Cancer is like being so critical of your relationships and like the way people are behaving to you or like how you're being taken care of. And you're like, why didn't you do that? And like you say that when you're drunk to your drunk or high partner, and then all of a sudden it's just kind of this big cry fest. Like it snowballs into like, well, you didn't do this, and I'm the bad person.
I guess I'm the bad guy.
So. And also like you want the moon to be comfortable. She's not very comfortable in Virgo.
No,
and it's semi-square and uncomfortable aspect to Venus in Cancer, which is like I am trying to be comfortable here and you're criticizing me.
And also I just think that Virgo is the worst sign to try any kind of chemical escapism with. You just can't do it, right?
Because it's about the brain. It's about the nerves.
It's about the brain and the body.
Literally systems.
And so whenever you're like, I know this about me, I know this about my fellow Virgos, like alcohol or drug escapism just doesn't work for us the same way it works for other people, for better or worse, right?
Yeah, you got to find, like, if you're a partaker in anything, you have to figure out like what works for you and what doesn't. Like, there are, and also when something doesn't work for you anymore, you heed that, or your body will reject whatever is going on.
Full-blown allergic reactions.
Oh yeah.
Anaphylactic shock. Oh. Like, that's Virgo response.
Yeah, I definitely have a story that I can't tell on camera. So
bummer.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I was I had skin reactions to everything. Aww. If anything was scented, if anything was scratchy, I would break out in hives. I was just like swollen and inflamed all the time. The first,
I'm really sensitive to fabrics.
Yeah.
Like, still to this day, like if it doesn't feel like my body, like, you get like little welts, or like it also feels like the neurodivergent sign of the.
I know, the most neurodivergent.
It's very Virgo, or very Virgo with Scorpio.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Those are the, like,
for sure.
And some Aquarian, like if you get a whole mix of that, like
Virgo Aquarius is the true
neurodivergent.
Sorry, autistic baddies.
Neurodivergence is not a bad thing.
No.
So long as you know.
But it is an interesting thing.
Yeah, it is interesting, isn't it? Are you having a Virgo coffee?
And I am a diagnosed neurodivergent baddie, so I'm allowed to talk about it. So yeah, that's what Saturday's gonna feel like.
Clean your house.
Clean your house. Don't go out, or if you do go out, stay sober.
Move things around your house. Does it look better here? Or does it look better?
That's the other thing.
Engage in choices that you can make safely.
Yes. Yeah. And that you can undo. Yeah. Right.
Like, you can move a pillow. But if you decide you're going to go and do a whole bunch of mushrooms or psilocybin, like, you can't undo that.
You can't undo what you said or did.
And don't do that on this new moon. And don't do this during the eclipse season.
Don't do substances for the next, 2 months. Just stay away from it.
I had a client reach out to me and ask if they should trip during the eclipse. And I was like, I am not.
What's their sign?
With a Saturn in Aries, just entering their Saturn return.
Oh, this is so bad then.
And I was just like, I can't, like, I'm not going to tell anybody what to do with their life. Like, that's not my business. I was just like,
if you do this,
if I were you, I would not at this time. I would just hold off and like kind of let this energy like do what it needs to do.
I would never trip during an eclipse. It would have to be like a really specific eclipse for me to want to do that. Yeah, I don't even want to do that during eclipse energy.
Yeah, too many. I just have witnessed so many strange things happen during eclipses to people and like just life events that like I really don't want to be inebriated in any sort of way to not be able to like deal with what would come.
Exactly.
And considering that some trips can last up to like 24 hours.
Yeah.
Like an eclipse trip seems to me like a person that almost like doses too much and then they just never aren't.
Yeah.
Like the people that are like
the people who get like stuck in it.
Perma-fried.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying is I feel like it can get you like stuck in a place or like, eclipse seasons
Here's your new reality. You are just on acid.
Yeah. Forever.
Which actually...
Or at least until next eclipse season for like a year.
I've definitely met people that like, they had a trip and they never came back.
Oh yeah, I know people. And I know people who are, they just like, were festival kids and did it enough times that they eventually had a trip and never came back. Yeah. Yep. So...
heed our warnings.
Heed our warnings.
Okay.
So we should move on to Sunday.
Yeah. Sunday, August 24th. Sunday is the sun's day.
Yep.
Sun is newly in Virgo, still very much carrying forth that new moon energy.
Yes.
And this is the note for this day in particular, is that, the sun is going to meet, the moon, is going to meet that south node, causing some sort of emotional letting go, a purging of some sort. After
Mhm.
this new moon, you make the adjustment, the analysis. Something has to go in order for something new to start. And I think that that's important, but also that the moon now is in that degree range where we can actually start to see the sliver of light. So if you were going to do, I think, like a ritual to start something new, you probably shouldn't do it until this day.
Yeah. It's going to be that's really good advice, actually, because this is going to be like really chaotic new moon energy.
So it's like, let the new moon do what it's got to do for you for a couple of days before you do the new moon ritual.
Because again, what Sid said earlier is that whatever conflict comes up, you don't get a choice in whether or not you're going to address it. You're going to have to address it one way or the other. So you don't need to manifest anything with that. But what you will want to manifest, like you said, wait a couple of days. There's going to be a pivot point, and then that's when you're going to have the opportunity for the new beginning, and that's when you can kind of set the stage for what it is that you want.
But the emotional release point really doesn't happen until Sunday. And I just like always have to remember that like fresh new beginnings do not come without some sort of consequence, for better or for worse. A brand new fresh beginning, like you cut your hair, you cut bangs, that's a new face.
That's a new face.
But there's always some sort of like letting go in order for you to go into this new direction. And so don't forget that these new directions do come with some sort of sacrifice in that moon.
And it's usually letting go of something that felt really comfortable, right? Like if it were easy to let go of, it would be easy to let go of.
And maybe it's some sort of self-effacing fucking belief you had, because Virgo loves to have stories about itself and why it can't do something, or why it has to do this thing instead of the other thing, or, to be of help and service over here, even though it doesn't.
That's the big thing with Virgo stories, is it's always like, well, I couldn't do it because I was needed here, right? Or I couldn't do it because of like this person needed me more than I needed me. There we go. This person needed me more than I needed me. And that's the really big thing with Virgos. Virgos always going to put something or someone before themselves to their detriment.
That is, one of the most beautiful things about Virgo signs is like they really do want to be helpful. More than anything, just helpful.
And
to do good work.
And to be a good friend and a good lover and a good family member. Like they want that so badly, and they want you, the ultimate acts of service.
And sometimes it just whoops their own asses. Super
or
cute.
they're just giving to all of the wrong things. Right.
So we'll get this perfected kind of new moon energy being carried through, because at 12:14 a.m. we get the sun perfecting its square to Uranus and Gemini.
12:14 a.m.
12:14 a.m. So this is the same Uranus and Gemini that was involved in the square with the new moon. Right? Because it didn't move that much. So like now that is perfect. So that's still kind of carrying through. The sun is kind of translating this light of this
it's
new
cute
moon.
that it went from the moon to the sun, right? Because the sun is literally like, okay, you went through the big change, and now I'm going to illuminate what that actually means, right?
And then it's good news, bad news bears for today. We're going to get the sun is going to semi-square Jupiter in Cancer. I think it's just feeling kind of excitable in a way. Something is forming around our goals and maybe the systems that we're trying, but we can't quite put it into effect yet. And then we get a quincunx from the sun to retrograde Neptune in Aries. We're going to need to maybe realize something new about the vision, the dream. Create something new.
And I think kind of confront where we've deluded ourselves, right? And be like, okay, like this is a delusion that I can no longer live within, right?
Or there's some sort of adjustment around the ways that we've been maybe pursuing the visions that we have for are the goals that we have for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And Virgo's like, knock it off.
Yeah.
And Neptune's like, I'm taking off into the abyss.
Yeah.
Virgo's like, get back here.
Yeah. You didn't even pack your bag.
Right. And then we get this really lovely sextile between the moon and Virgo with Jupiter and Cancer. I think this is kind of soothing.
It's going to be a
calming.
balm.
Yeah, a little bit of a balm. It's very, I feel like it feels like, you make your bed and you eat something that is good for your system.
Yeah.
You do some gentle yoga. This is self-care.
It's self-care, but I think like with everything that's going on, it's like, it just couldn't be at a better moment, right? Where it's like, you need to remember that, because like what's complicated about this energy is Virgo is so big on self-improvement. And I think this is a pivot point that's going to be looking at Virgo and saying, okay, here's a thing that needs improvement. But Virgo can just run so far out of bounds with that, right? And I think this is a good reminder where it's like, okay, like you were given some permission to perfect and adjust like you love to do, but just remember that you are still good enough the way you are, and there are still safe spaces. There are still touchstones for you, and it is okay. You don't have to throw you don't have to throw out the whole kitchen sink. There are still systems that are safe. There are still systems that are working, and I think revisiting what does work and what does feel good is healthy for Virgo energy.
I'm just reminded of talking to one of my favorite Virgos in this last week. I had a session with them, and I was like, what if you began before you knew you were perfect?
Yeah. Oh my God.
She didn't like hearing that.
Yeah, that's a conversation I've been trying to have with myself the last few years, where it's like, you can just do it and it doesn't have to be exactly what you thought.
It was like an uncomfortable question. I was like, you do not have to have the answer for me right now. But, if you have these big, beautiful goals, you cannot wait one more day to not initiate some sort of action. You can always go back and say, you know what, I'm going to do that again. Sure, that Virgo thing, like, that wasn't great. I'm going to rip up that piece of paper.
And I think that's almost like there's the energy that's out there right now almost guarantees that we will have to go back and redo it.
Well, yeah, we get another new moon.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I think that's why it's saying like, this is a great time to just try it out, because you are going to get that opportunity to redo it. So just try something now.
Implement the new system. The new system will be revised during the eclipses.
Yes.
We get a sesqui square to Pluto that is very, very cranky. This is all happening very early in the morning. And then at 1:05 p.m., we get the Sun quincunx Pluto. This is some sort of ego adjustment on a like a deeper, more like molecular level.
Yeah, I agree.
It feels like a crisis. Maybe this is like some sort of crisis of ego, literally of our ego. Like how do we implement our perfectionism in a society that is profoundly imperfect and needs,
but still demands your perfection.
Yeah.
Right. And like that's the fucked up thing about it. It's a deeply imperfect system that still demands our perfection. It's such abuse dynamics. God. Abuse dynamics, baby.
Yeah, it's
but yeah, so and we're talking about Sun and Virgo quincunxing Pluto in Aquarius.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this before, but I do think there are interesting similarities between Virgo and Aquarius, right?
Yeah.
There
communication, processing,
but also like service to others, I think applies to both, but in very different ways, right? Because Aquarius is about community and humanitarianism. Virgo is the work that goes into, whatever cause you're giving yourself to. So I do think there is something about when there's a quincunx between Virgo and Aquarius, there's something about the work that we're doing for others. Yeah. Right? But it's uncomfortable because they have two very different perspectives on how to go about it.
Yeah. And they also, so depending on what school of like astrological thought you come from, right? Mercury exalts in Virgo, but they not everyone can say that Uranus is the lower or higher octave, depending on which astrologer you hear, is in Aquarius. This has to do with like thought, like that Mercury and Aquarius do so well together.
Yeah.
And so there's like there's definitely something here about like rooted, like earthly work versus like systemic.
Yeah. And kind of seeing the forest through the trees, right?
Yeah. Or like the network was the trees and now it's literally like the cable lines or like the electricity that can like course through or it like how our brain goes from like one level to like the next. It's like a different realm altogether.
Yeah.
I personally just think that they're really two very fucking cool signs. But
I do too. It's like Aquarius is one of my faves.
I always get sad that I don't have Aquarius placements because all of the Aquarius placement people I know are like very too cool for school.
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say like the same thing. Yeah, because I'm thinking about because I'm a Virgo, and
with an Aries rising.
I love Aquarius. I have a lot of Aquariuses in my life, but also I've worked in nonprofit most of my life, and I work with so many Aquariuses in nonprofit. Yeah, you find a lot of Virgos in nonprofit too. And so I do think that like in that particular sector, Aquarians and Virgos are just all up in each other's business all the time, at least all of the organizations.
And you'll get the Virgos working in finance. They're like, you know, crunching the numbers and doing the books. And then like the Aquariuses are like out there, like giving the talks and like sharing the ideas and like.
Or Virgo is doing all of the detail-oriented stuff just to keep the systems running, and Aquarius is just kind of showing up and
broad-minding it.
Yeah, they're like, oh, thank you for putting the system into place. I'm going to communicate it to everybody so it makes sense to everyone, right? That's very much the dynamic between the two. So yeah, and like they just come off so cool because Virgo's like the anxious, like nerdy professor, like putting everything together, and the Aquarius comes in and is like, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Here you go, everybody.
Or the Aquarius is like, all of the Aquariuses I know, one, would never be caught dead going into something that everybody else is going into.
Absolutely not.
They would never.
No.
Would they create it for everybody else to come to?
Yes.
Absolutely.
And they will be the first ones to leave that party also. They'll be like, here you go, bye.
Yeah. So, you know, I love Aquarius placements. I do think that there's, you know, something here also just about like, it's definitely all about systems with that Sun quincunx Pluto.
Yeah.
And we're needing to make some sort of adjustment. We do get a very cute biquintile to moon, from moon to retrograde Chiron, which can just kind of feel like wisdom, learning. And then we get a really cranky aspect at 11:56 p.m. We'll be asleep, hopefully.
Yep, just go to bed.
Mercury sesqui square retrograde Saturn in Aries.
Yeah.
So they're both fire signs. Period. But Mercury by degree has more degrees than Saturn. So even though they're in a sign-based trine, but in a very cranky aspect. So they're like, I see what you're talking about, but no, fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like the classic argument. I was going to say, it's the classic argument where you get into a big fight with somebody, and then at the end of it, you can't even make sense of what you were fighting about because you both want the same thing.
Yeah.
So what are we fighting about?
But it's like you both want the same thing, but you don't want the other one to have it.
Yeah, that's a great way. Only one of us, like this town ain't big enough for the two of us.
It's very Highlander like.
Yeah.
I want all the power. I understand what you want, but like absolutely not. And like it's a passionate, fiery, you know, Mercury and Leo is I still think about like heart-based communication. Saturn in Aries just really wants to kind of like rip apart like things having to do with like individualism. And there's something here about like having to really renegotiate how we're communicating, and we freaking want to do it. I mean, Saturn's still the bigger planet.
Yep.
He's still the heavier, weightier, slower one. So Saturn is telling Mercury, you have to change. Like, fuck you, it's my way.
Yeah. Yep.
So, you know, passionate feelings arise. Let's hope you're asleep.
Yeah. Yeah. Sort that shit out in your dreams. So we're on to our last day of the week. It's going to be Monday, August 25th. And right off the bat, little uncomfy, 1:05 a.m. Moon is going to quincunx Chiron. Again, hopefully this is something that you can process in your dreams. but definitely some emotional discomfort, encountering some wound point that you may not yet be able to fully heal. Yeah. But for some reason, it needs to come up and you need to be processing it, even if it's not fully healed, even if it's not fully synthesized or integrated. It's definitely like a little bit of like your shadow self coming up and being like, hey, like you still have unmet needs.
Yeah, I get to poke inside of there now. And you're like, I don't want to.
Yeah, and you're like, I can't meet this need yet, but I see you, right?
Yeah.
And then it gets a little bit nicer throughout the rest of like the very early morning. We've got 2:12 a.m. We've got a Venus quintile to Mars, which is cute. And then 4:33 a.m. So if you're East Coast, you'll just be waking up with this cute little guy. It's Moon quintile to Jupiter, which is really nice, especially because you might have some uncomfortable dreams during the night. So
it also feels like a working aspect with the Moon in Virgo with Jupiter in Cancer. So it's like
waking up ready to do some work.
Yeah, I can like work towards my goals in like really methodical or practical ways, and I like can work within these systems, and like it feels good.
Yeah,
it's like flow state. That's what it feels
definitely.
Like.
If you're a Monday through Friday person, this is great Monday energy to work up with.
Yeah,
to wake up with. To work up with.
And then 6:53, we get the Moon in Virgo sextile Venus in Cancer. This is also a really lovely aspect, even though there's like a mixed reception. Right. So Moon will receive Venus, but Venus does not want anything to have to do with Virgo.
Absolutely not.
But there is
natal Venus in Virgo, and it's awful.
But there is some sort of like, perfecting upon, what we need.
Well, and I also think it definitely depends on like personal charts here, but I do think this can also be a working aspect where it's good for like doing the work that you like to do or finding joy in the work that you have to do.
Yeah, service, working on the projects, all of that is good. The void, of course, will begin with this aspect.
Yeah.
And then Moon is going to enter Libra on that world point, that Aries point. It's 7:08 a.m. So Libra moons really want to communicate. They really want to relate to others. They really want to be social with other people.
So keep in mind that this week is going to start with a very social moon. Moon in Libra.
Could be a little codependent.
Could be.
What are you thinking about? What do you want to do?
Yeah, especially with it opposing that world point, and then it's going to oppose retrograde Saturn in Aries. It's definitely going to be very much like, do you remember that I'm here? Like, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
It's very much the, calling, getting the phone call where it's like, you haven't called me all week. Like, what's going on? Kind of vibes.
And so...
oh my God, and then Venus enters Leo. Yeah, it's going to be a needy day.
8 a.m. Moon opposite retrograde Saturn in Aries. This is some sort of emotional limitation.
Yeah.
Some sort of like feeling like the responsibilities are sitting all on your shoulders and you have to do it on your own. But like, I really want to do it with other people. Yeah. And why aren't you here supporting me? I feel really alone.
But wouldn't that make sense if we're going to have this huge new moon that happens right at the start of the weekend, right? Yeah. And then you have to spend the whole weekend kind of processing that.
Right.
Monday is kind of like, okay, the work week's starting back up and I have to get back to reality, but it's still going to feel bad. You're still going to be kind of in this new weird place from that new moon.
Yeah.
And I do think that there's going to be this kind of like needy, maybe you're just feeling insecure or scared, right? And so I think there's some energy coming in where you are going to be looking for affirmations.
I get that. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. 9:27, Venus is going to enter Leo. So just to go over.
It's me.
Well, so Venus is about relationship.
Yeah.
It's about money. It's about our essential needs. It's how we love. It's how we care and take care of. So like, Venus and Leo at its most beautiful, big. That's not for you, buddy. That's a Bender's toy.
Yeah, sorry, bud.
This is like open-hearted love.
Yes.
But like there is a bit of, you have to pour into me so I feel seen, or like I need a lot of attention here. I need a lot of care.
Yeah.
So like,
or it's like I'm gonna give you all of this, but you have to take it or leave it.
Yeah,
right.
And you like, have to take care of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Venus in Leo is like, I love gold.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a little gaudy.
I was gonna say, because we were talking about like the Prez, right? I don't know what his Venus is in, but I feel like he has a very Venus and Leo aesthetic in terms. He likes he decorates the White House with all like gold leaf and like gold pillaring.
I mean, I think I think that's kind of, I wonder about people with strong suns, whether they're like in the upper horizon, like in the 10th, or rejoicing in the 9th. Like, I love gold. Yeah. Not his kind of gold. Even though Rococo is kind of fun. I'm like, ooh, yay, Versace. Like, Versace, let's go. Yeah. But in general, like,
it's very gay of him, I feel.
Well, anyways. But I do think that like there people that have a lot of Leo energy tend to kind of pivot towards like those gold, sunshiny, very bright, sort of like primary colors. That solar, you know, the oranges, the yellows, not even really the bronzes, but like really those bright kind of that gaudy gold is what he loves, and that's not my thing, but I mean, his sun is in Gemini, but he has that Leo rising that points up to that. I think it's like an 11th house or a 10th house sun. Not to memorize a lot of his chart, but
we look at it a lot.
Well, you kind of have to right now because everything is terrible. But Venus enters Leo in this. Now it's hopefully we're leading with our heart.
Yes.
Hopefully we're now loving open-heartedly and hoping that people will pour into us, but without the expectation that they do.
Right. And that's the really important point here, right? Is, you know, at any sign's most evolved, it has to be that we give without the expectation of what we're going to receive. Right. Because that's the other thing is like you could receive things, it just could be like not what you expected or not what you thought you wanted, but maybe it could be what you needed. Right. So that's Venus going into Leo.
Playful,
creative. God, and that's the other thing is like Venus with Leo. God, just like art, expression, performance,
drama. Oh, this is a very dramatic Venus.
Yeah, it's very like reality TV kind of vibe, especially with Moon in Libra. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. Wasn't the Venus in Leo, the retrograde Venus in Leo was the Barbie moment, right?
Yes, it was. And I think it actually came out during retrograde.
Yeah, because it has to do with Margot Robbie's chart.
Yeah.
I'm interested in there's some.
And I loved the Barbie moment. I really did love the Barbie
She
moment.
Was cute. She was a little reductionist, or is that word? What is that?
Reductionist. But there's definitely criticisms to be had there, which I think also applies to this aesthetic. Yeah. I think it can be very.
But she's cute. She's cute. She was a bubblegum vibe. So like, you know, a little bit of a bimbo. Who, me?
Yeah, exactly.
But like also so creative, so fun, enjoy play, like sexy, fun, overt flirting.
Yes. Like, I think that's the big thing. This is a social Venus. This is a social. Yeah, this is. Wing. Yeah. With like the very oversized eyelashes.
Right. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. With like the kind of energy. It's very, and it's like very come hither, right? Because it's not like I'll do anything for you. It's literally like I know you want this kind of energy. Yeah. Which is great. Again, like what can be challenging for Venus is that Venus is very much about the give and take, right? It's about us, not me. And Leo is very much about me. Yeah. So it's a selfish Venus. But that could be exactly what you need after
all of that Virgo.
And
we're still in Virgo season too. So
exactly. So
there's something there about like maybe this is a little bit more balanced out.
I was gonna say it just goes right back to what I was talking about before, where there is a necessary balance between compromise and also being true to yourself. Where do you need to compromise, and also where do you need to not compromise? Right? Where have there been places where you've compromised to the detriment of your sense of self? Right? Because Venus and Leo is going to come in and say, we're not doing that anymore.
It's also kind of funny that, like, unfortunately, Venus in Leo is ruled by that sun in Virgo. So Venus and Leo does not get to have all of the fun that Venus and Leo usually gets to have. So maybe it's like, you know, I want to shine, but you have to tell me I'm perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like, if I don't get poured into enough, then I will turn it in on myself. Or I think that something's wrong.
What we were talking about with that Leo, where it can be like the dramatic self-victimization, where it's very much like anyone who. This is making me think of my Leo mother, but definitely like standing outside the door and everyone's like, are you coming in? And it's like, I don't know. Do you want me in?
Oh, God.
You know, like that's Venus and Leo ruled by Sun and Virgo, right?
Brutal. Never mind.
I need the explicit invitation.
Yeah.
You know?
So as much as I would love for Venus and Leo to have more of a fun time, and maybe it's a little bit of like a precursor, because after Venus is in Leo, it goes into Virgo.
I know.
So she just doesn't get to have all of the fun that she typically could have.
I'm sure there will be moments.
I mean, yeah. But she doesn't. There's a self-perfecting.
Yeah.
Pour into me.
Well,
tell me I'm good enough.
Yeah. Well, and tell me I'm good enough. Yeah, exactly. You know? And invite me in. Like, don't just assume that I know that I can walk in. I need you to invite me in.
It's just like an interesting Venus and Leo.
Well, I still, you know what? I'm digging my heels in here with it. I really do think there is going to be a lot of, because this isn't necessarily comfortable, right? It's like all of the ways in which I have self-sacrifice to my own detriment. We're done with that. I need to start stepping into my own sense of self, and where I am not willing to compromise. And that being ruled by a sun in Virgo is not comfortable. Virgo loves to compromise. You know, Virgo's all about
yeah, I can make that adjustment. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I'll just have to cancel all of my plans, but don't worry about it. I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
I have that in my purse. No, it's fine.
Yeah. It was the last one, but I want you to have it.
Yeah. I can change the color of my dress. Like, don't worry. Like, don't change.
Yeah. Don't change. I would rather change. Literally, it will ruin my night if you offer to change. Yeah. Now Leo's going to come in and be like, you know what? You change. Right?
I really don't think that Venus gets to have any fun until she enters.
No, I think it's
Libra.
I do feel like this is like a difficult growth period for Venus. Like that's what I'm getting with it, is like it's stepping into your, like you're still learning how to be that fun Venus and Leo.
Yeah.
Right? Like you gotta let go of, like anyone, like I know that when I'm actively trying to move away from some of like the less flattering aspects of being a Virgo, one of the hard things is me saying like, no, I don't want to do that because I don't want to do that. We got dog farts happening.
Oh no, it was just Lamont running. It's like all the tippy tappies. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's better than him barking.
Yeah, but anyway, so I think that's why it's going to be uncomfortable for Venus and Leo. Is I do think that Virgo influence is having to find that balance between self-sacrifice and where you're not supposed to compromise your sense of self. Yeah. And I think that's uncomfortable. Yeah. I think if you have a lot of Leo energy, it's going to be uncomfortable in one way. If you have a lot of Virgo energy, it's going to be uncomfortable in another way.
Hi, friend.
But yeah.
You want to come up?
So then we've got Moon trining Uranus in Gemini, which is very fun and social. Okay, I think that's pretty cute for right after Venus goes into Leo.
Yeah.
Moon trine Uranus.
Yeah, you know,
it's like she wants to step out in her new
she can,
gaudy gold
or
whatever.
Take on some sort of new habit easily, right? New ideas easily. We do get the Moon in Libra opposite retrograde Neptune in Aries shortly after that, so that could be feeling a little bit disillusioned about the ways that you've tried to go forward, or the ways that you have tried to kind of stand up for yourself, or call in this energy. So there could be something that feels a little bit like overwhelming, emotionally overwhelming in that moment.
And then later on in that hour at 10:48 a.m. it's Moon trining Pluto, so it's like almost seeing where we need to transform. Right? Like you experience the disillusion and you're like, okay, now I have to transform. I can't stay in that space.
And also feeling, you can get to the bottom of things, how you're feeling about things with a trine to Pluto. It allows you to go deeper into those moments, so you can like get rid of things that you don't need anymore, feelings that you don't need anymore. It's also passionate. You're feeling more intensely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Which is not necessarily a bad thing.
No. I think this is all reinforcing. I do think that there's going to just be a lot of trial and error right now.
Yeah.
Because again, we're now firmly in this story between the two Virgo new moons.
5:55 p.m. we get Venus and Leo trine retrograde Saturn in Aries, and this is really like the last and also the biggest aspect of the day besides Venus entering Leo. And so, this can be some sort of stabilization, hopefully passionate, a little bit, maybe hopefully tempering some of the drama of the Venus and Leo.
Yeah, I think it goes right back to understanding what you need to do. Venus and Leo, it's acknowledging where you need to honor thyself, especially in how you relate to other people. And I think with that trine to Saturn, it's definitely saying like, okay, now go do it. Like you just got to do it.
Also setting up boundaries in relationships. Like this
that's what I mean. This
is mine, this is yours. There could also be like being able to take your like creativity and actually make something real and tangible out of it. So this is a creative aspect, which is cute, passionate.
All these feelings that you've had this week, this is the moment for you to like paint a picture about it.
She's also kind of passionately standing on business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I'm about my money.
Yeah.
I'm about my boundaries. Respect them.
I'm about what I need.
Yep. Okay, bye.
You can work around me.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's really like the last thing about Monday. So, Monday's like good news, bad news.
Good news, bad news bears.
More good news than bad news.
I would say it's good but uncomfortable, right? I feel like there is this, by this point in the week, after all the stuff that happened prior, I do think there is going to be kind of more of a focus and more of an understanding of where we're at. And this isn't going to necessarily be like, I feel great and I'm seeing all the fruits of my labor. Like that's not going to come for a while. But this is the day where you finally say, okay, I know what I need to do. And I'm just going to do it. Despite the discomfort, right? How you haven't seen that guy who's... Come on. You haven't seen that guy on TikTok who's the I do it anyway guy who dances in the rain with the umbrella? He goes, I do it anyway, even when I'm sad. No. That's what the Venus trine Saturn makes me think of.
Okay.
I'm going to send it to you.
I dig it.
Yeah. But just do it anyway. Even if you're sad or scared, just do it anyway.
Closing thoughts about this week. I know this episode is long, so.
This is long, yeah. I think obviously the biggest thing is that new moon.
Definitely.
Just keep in mind that the moon is going to be out of bounds leading up to that new moon. So emotions will be running high.
Yes.
Especially the moon is going to be in Cancer for the first part of the week. So emotions are going to be free flowing and riding high all the way up until that new moon.
Yeah.
And
I think that this is a fine-tuning point for us. I think that this is in some ways like a very new beginning, a new way of doing something that pushes us collectively and obviously individually into like the next chapters. And, it's a really interesting new moon to have when we have all of these big planets very close to each other. So it's really talking about a system shift and reset and change. Quincunxes don't feel good, but there is something about with that new moon, it's like really needing to roll with the punches. I cannot say that more like clearly. You have to be flexible. And I think we just have to be flexible in general. And there isn't a lot of fixed energy in the sky. besides like Venus and Mercury, like all of the outers are in planets that really want to move and do stuff. And so there really is something like, we just kind of we're rolling with it right now.
Yeah.
I mean, we have some very significant, big changes coming up as we are continuing to go into the eclipse season.
Yeah.
And we're going to have some big outer planets making some big perfections in the upcoming weeks. And so,
I think the adjustments, like what you're talking about, what's weird about this energy is you definitely need to do things differently and try some new things right now during this new moon. You got to do it. And also, it probably won't stick. It's going to need to be readjusted.
Or there's like part 1, part 2, right?
Yeah. Like this is going to be beta testing, but you got to do the beta testing. Otherwise, you're not going to be prepared for you got to hand in the rough draft. Otherwise, your final draft's going to be shit.
Yeah. But I think it's also important to for those of us who do not have Virgo energy in our chart,
must be nice.
Or pronounced Virgo placements, I think is probably the better way to say it, is like to do some self-reflection on the ways that we do need to change. Everybody knows that there's something in their life that they need to do differently.
Yep.
And so I think this is a time, a call, a check-in that says,
so are you going to do it? Yeah. Yeah.
And
I feel like this is going to be a hard new moon for people who aren't used to Virgo energy.
And maybe it's also this is the invitation, right? This is the week that has the invitation of like, so you're going to shift, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise we're going to whoop your ass.
Yeah.
When we get to that anoretic.
Dude.
So
it's going to suck so hard if you don't do it now.
Take the invitation.
Yeah.
And the suggestion that the Virgo energy kind of presents to you.
I love that.
Yeah. So as a reminder, we are open for readings. We would love to meet you. Would love to see you. Feel free to comment. We would love to know where Virgo is in your chart and what's going on for you in your life. And I think we just want to wish you a happy new moon.
Happy new moon. Happy growth and adjustments and becoming the newer, bigger, better version of yourself.
I dig it.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Okay. Bye.